Pompeii? Was it just that they were smothered in stone,
No,
or was it the heat?
the people were first killed by the poisonous gases. People died because of suffocated of the dense ash. And so then were buried. First died suffocated, asphyxiated by the gas, and then buried.
So did Pompeii get covered in lava as well? Or?
No lava. Lava never reached the town because Pompeii is 7 miles far away from the volcano. Pompeii has been never destroyed by a river of lava, otherwise we couldn't see the town. Right. It was just buried under a layer of 25, 30 feet of pumice stones and ash. So you see now the volcano, which is like the last eruption left it, I mean in the year 1944. And since then, no other eruption. But any time there could be a new eruption because the volcano is still active.
How much warning are you going to get? How do they know when it's going to blow?
Well, with the modern technology, they satellite the volcano, and so they monitor always and every time, every moment the volcano, not just with satellite, but with some other technology like the measuring the pressure and measuring the temperature of the volcano. And so 1 week, 10 days before, we knew a new eruption.
Well, it is rather alarmingly smoking.
It is, it is.
Do we have to worry about that?
Well, yes and not, because I told you, any time there could be a new eruption.
So what actually is the steam? What is...
Well, it's because inside the temperature is still very hot, and so the water staying inside the crater is steaming. You see, the damp over there.
How thick is the crust now, stopping the lava from
It's
reaching
really
us?
very deep. They think it's almost a mile because it's a long time. We don't have any eruption. And so longer will be the time between the eruption, and the worse will be the next eruption, because it means it will explode with a big power.
So the longer between eruptions, the bigger the force when it finally pops.
You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
You're very chilled out here. You're very cool.
Well, that's life.
Let's hope that's life.
The buried buildings of Pompeii are still standing after nearly 2,000 years. Beginning in 1748, the excavations have unearthed in amazing detail the secrets of a city at the height of the Roman Empire.
Well, this is the Forum, the main square, the center of the political, religious, commercial and social Romance life.
So this was all completely submerged in...
Yes, under the 30 feet. And thanks to this volcanic material, that everything has been so good preserved all along the centuries.
I don't know what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting it to be as intact as it is and as extensive as it is. All these columns should still be standing.
Yes, because no, well, they were found on the floor and they're being replaced up there by the archaeologists.
So it wasn't absolutely an aspect.
Yes,
it's been reconstructed.
We never find the roofs and the upper part of the buildings because we're the first thing to collapse. But here there was the floor made by marble, all the floor paved by marble. There was a marble colonnade surrounding the square and having a second floor too on the left side with other shops on the upper part, like a very modern shopping mall. In our modern cities, the main square became for pedestrians only just 45 or 50 years ago, and here more than 2,000 years ago they already got a larger pedestrian area.
It's just extraordinary how much of it there is, and how much there is to see, and how kind of domestic it feels, and how real it feels. You know, you just get the sense of a fully functioning society.
So the public parts. So the male section we are going to visit right now. The female section is to the other side. 6 public parts, always divided in male and female section. That's the changing room and waiting room. The main entrance was over there. Where are the holes all around? It's because there were the wooden poles holding the wardrobes for the clothes.
Ah, okay.
From here to the gymnasium, sport, after sport, massage and sauna, and after the sauna, coming back again here, a dive in a pool filled with the cold water. Well, this is the cold bath after the sauna, which was used to harden the muscles for the body circulation, to close the pores. And decorations always all over. Nothing was left undone.
It's interesting that Pompeii seems to have been a bit of a party town. a slightly hedonistic place to be. You were massaged on that?
They were massaged by the slaves at 25, 35 minutes before going to the sauna. And that's for everyone, rich and poor. You see, it was like an injection of happiness.
Except for the slaves. They didn't get massaged, they just had to do it.
And after all this, David, at the exit in front of them, one next another one, 2 large wine bar, fast food, and a party with the good company of girls on the backside. There were lids made of wooden on the top to keep warm the food.
Okay.
As well, to the other side, in the other containers, was possible to keep cool the wine.
You came out of the sauna, you had your sauna, you got your massage, you came out, you had your dinner.
And so,
With all your
all at
mates.
disposal. I thought a fun town.
Yeah.
Kind of Las Vegas.
Yeah, yeah, very much so. Unless you were a slave. If you happened to be part of the Roman Empire, you were clearly having quite a nice life until the skies exploded on top of your head.
That's, David, the best example to understand how terrible were the last moment of life of those people. You see, all these people were trying to save their life underneath the roof and probably waiting that the eruption was over, but they're suffocated by the poisonous gases and just later buried under the 30 feet of pumice stones and ash. So now, 19 centuries later, the archaeologists, during the excavations, sometimes they fell under the volcanic materials, some empty spaces left by the decomposition of bodies. And so they did injections of liquid plaster in these empty spaces. The liquid plaster took the form of the previous bodies, and when it dried up, the archaeologists cleaned all the ash away and appeared the bodies in the same position they were when they died 2,000 years ago.
It's always very easy when you think about historical events for them not to feel particularly human, for them not to feel particularly close. And then you see the shapes of their bodies and you see how their existence ended, and you can grasp a bit of the story of how appalling and shocking and surprising that was. The terror of that moment, the thought that you literally didn't know what was happening. There was no precedent for what was occurring.
This is a story about a whole town full of people dying. And so I think we were all keen to be sensitive to that.
You can't underestimate the fact that these are real people, and what we were dealing with there, this is a real event on a massive scale.
This is a great, big, massive event in history. I think an event that children have always been fascinated by as well. I think there's something with a younger audience in there, that story of Pompeii. I remember learning at a very young age and being fascinated and thrilled by it.
For me as a director, it's very exciting when you're caught up so much into the story, you kind of let go of yourself. I just found myself doing that as opposed to thinking of, how am I going to shoot that, how am I going to shoot that? And it's only having read it the second time I went, oh dear, help.